My name is Clara Whitmore. I'm 33 years old. For most of my life, I've lived by rules I built myself: discipline, strength, and refusing to settle for anyone's nonsense. I run a gym, and in that space, everything makes sense. Reps, weights, discipline. They never lie to you. But people lie all the time. I'd been with my boyfriend, Daniel, for 2 years. On paper, he was charming, funny, magnetic, the kind of man who could make a whole room laugh without effort. But beneath that charm was a streak I had ignored for too long. Daniel loved attention. He thrived on little dramas, the kind that made him feel like the star of his own movie. And the biggest recurring character in that movie was his ex-girlfriend, Sophie. He insisted Sophie was just a friend, someone who still hung around because of mutual connections. But I wasn't stupid. I saw the way Sophie touched his arm when she laughed, the way she positioned herself close, like she was still claiming territory. And I saw the way he didn't stop her. 6 months earlier, I had drawn the line. We'd had a huge fight, me telling him I wasn't going to stand by while his ex played shadow girlfriend. "It's either distance with her or I'm gone," I told him. He cried, swore Sophie was just a lingering ghost from the past, promised he'd set boundaries. And for a while he did. The late-night messages stopped. She wasn't popping up at every hangout. I almost let myself believe it. Then came last Friday night. Daniel loved a certain band, and I wanted to do something unforgettable for us. I stretched my budget, pulled strings, and managed to get us floor tickets, close enough to feel the bass in our chests. This was supposed to be our night, our date, a reminder of why I kept fighting for us. But the moment we stepped through those gates, my stomach dropped. Because standing right there, hair shining under the floodlights, lips curved into a smug little grin, was Sophie. "Clara, don't start," Daniel said instantly, defensive before I'd even spoken. "She just got a ticket from a friend. Total coincidence." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Sophie's smile told me everything. This wasn't coincidence. This was choreography. Still, I swallowed my rage and stayed. I told myself I wasn't going to throw away the night I worked so hard for, but I should have known better. Daniel and Sophie were glued together from the start, laughing, whispering, trading inside jokes that left me as the silent outsider. I wasn't his date. I was the chauffeur who brought them. When the headliner came on, the crowd surged forward. Sophie complained loudly, "I can't see anything." She turned to me, all faux innocent. "Clara, can I get on your shoulders, please?" I stared at her. "You know I've got a bad back. We can move to the side where it's less crowded." She pouted for maybe 5 seconds before spinning to Daniel with a blinding smile. "Daniel will do it. He's strong." And just like that, he crouched down and she climbed onto him like it was the most natural thing in the world. The crowd around us started cheering. Sophie loved it, throwing her arms in the air like a queen on parade. Then she looked down at me, literally down, from her throne on his shoulders, and laughed. A sharp, ugly laugh. "See?" she shouted, loud enough for the people around us to hear. "You're taller, way better than my girlfriend." The crowd roared with laughter. Daniel smirked but said nothing. Sophie basked in it, her little main character moment. And that's when everything inside me went quiet. The music, the lights, the screaming fans, it all blurred into nothing. What remained was crystal clarity. This wasn't a rough patch. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was the end. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even argue. I just looked up at Sophie, the woman Daniel swore was just a friend, mocking me from my boyfriend's shoulders, and I smiled. A small, almost secret smile, because I was done. I turned, walked through the sea of people, and out into the cool night air. No one stopped me. The crowd parted as if they knew the weight of what I carried. I didn't look back once. For the first time in months, I felt relief. The taxi ride home was the calmest 45 minutes I'd had in years. No arguments replaying in my head, no gnawing doubts, just silence. Clean, merciful silence. When I unlocked my apartment, the decision was already made. This wasn't Daniel's home. It never had been. My name was on the lease. My sweat had paid for every piece of furniture, every plate in the cupboard. And if Sophie wanted to crown herself queen, she could have him. I went straight to the bedroom and began packing his things. Not tossing, not raging, just precise. His shirts folded into the expensive luggage he once bragged about, his sneakers stacked neatly. Even the cologne I hated, sealed into plastic. By midnight, the room was bare. The only proof he'd ever lived here was a row of suitcases by the front door. I sat on the couch, turned on the TV, and waited. It was nearly 2:30 a.m. when I heard them outside, laughing too loudly, voices sloppy with alcohol. Daniel's key scraped at the lock, then stopped at the deadbolt. A pause. Confusion. "Clara, door's stuck!" His voice was muffled through the wood. I didn't move. I watched them instead, through the little screen of my doorbell camera. Sophie leaned into frame, her lip gloss smudged, her laugh shrill. She shoved him. "Push harder!" He tried, shoulder slamming against the door, and bounced off like an idiot. I almost laughed. Finally, my phone lit up. His name. I answered. "Clara, what the hell is wrong with the door?" "Nothing's wrong," I said, my tone like glass. "It's locked." "Then unlock it." "No." Silence, then anger. "What do you mean, no?" "I mean," I said slowly, savoring every word, "you don't live here anymore, Daniel. You found someone better, remember? She's right there with you. Go live with her." In the background, Sophie's voice sharpened. "Are you serious right now? You're really kicking him out over a joke?" "You broke us the moment you brought her tonight," I said. Everything after that was just confirmation. The line went quiet, then shouting. Sophie's voice rising, Daniel pleading. I ended the call and blocked both numbers. The pounding on the door grew louder, until finally I shouted through it, my voice cutting sharp. "Hey, Sophie, tell your man to stop hitting my door before he sprains something. You'll need him healthy to carry your bags." Her gasp echoed, furious and hollow, but eventually they left. I watched them stumble away on the camera, dragging his pride with them. The next morning, I dragged the suitcases into the hallway. I didn't slam them, didn't throw them, just placed them neatly against the wall. Then I used an app to send a simple, anonymous message to his phone. "Your things are in the hall." By the time I came back from the gym that afternoon, they were gone. But the peace didn't last long. By Monday, the smear campaign had begun. I was the villain now. The jealous, controlling girlfriend who couldn't take a joke. The unhinged woman who abandoned Daniel at a concert, then tossed him out in a fit of rage. Their story spread through our circle like wildfire. Some friends sent me messages full of judgment, swallowing Sophie's version without a second thought. I deleted them without reply. The ones who mattered, my real friends, called, asked, listened. I told them the truth simply, without theatrics. They believed me. The rest? Let them believe whatever they wanted. Because deep down, I knew Daniel and Sophie wouldn't stop. They couldn't. Their egos were too big, too addicted to chaos. And when they came for me again, I'd be ready. A week later, they found me. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was in the parking garage of my building, loading a new set of weights into the back of my truck. The air was damp with gasoline and dust, echoing with every clang of metal. That's when I heard tires squeal. A car blocked me in. Daniel got out first, jaw tight, eyes searching for a fight. Sophie followed, mascara smudged, tears streaking her cheeks, as if she'd rehearsed her role on the way over. "Clara, we need to talk," she said, her voice trembling. "No, we don't." I didn't even look at her. Daniel stepped forward, puffed up, trying to tower over me. "Hey, she's talking to you. Show her some respect." I finally turned, my eyes locked on his. "This has nothing to do with you. Back off." "I'm not going anywhere," he snapped, chest brushing mine. "You humiliated her. You're going to apologize." The absurdity almost made me laugh. "Apologize?" I said, raising an eyebrow. "To her?" He shoved me, hard. The weights behind me rattled against the truck bed. "Apologize," he repeated, his voice cracking with anger. That was it. All the smirks. All the lies. All the little humiliations. They funneled into that one moment, into his hand against me. He shoved again, and my body answered for me. One punch. A clean, practiced straight right. It landed square on his jaw. His head snapped, his body folded, and before he even hit the concrete, he was out cold. Sophie's scream pierced the garage. "Oh my God, you monster! I'm calling the cops!" "Go ahead," I said, shaking the sting from my knuckles. "When they get here, I'll show them the security footage. The cameras caught him assaulting me first. Let's see who they believe." Her phone froze halfway to her ear. She looked from Daniel, groaning, limp on the ground, to me, standing calm, steady, unshaken. And in her eyes, I saw something new. Not triumph, not arrogance, not even rage. Fear. She fumbled, dragging Daniel's dazed body toward the car. His knees buckled. Blood smeared across his shirt collar. They shoved him inside and sped off without another word. The story of the punch spread quickly, but this time, their version didn't land. People remembered Sophie's little stunt at the concert. They remembered her laughing from Daniel's shoulders, mocking me in front of strangers. They remembered the betrayal that had been public long before the punch. Their smear campaign collapsed under its own weight. Daniel's reputation, the tough, charming guy, took the hit instead. Now he was the one who got knocked out after running his mouth, the alpha reduced to a punchline. And for the first time since I walked away that night, I knew the game had shifted. The power wasn't theirs anymore. It was mine. After the punch, things went quiet for a while. Too quiet. Then the begging started. Sophie used different numbers to text me. Long, rambling apologies. I was drunk. It was a mistake. Daniel doesn't mean anything. Please, Clara, I know I messed up. I ignored every word. But Sophie wasn't the type to accept silence. One afternoon, she walked straight into my gym while I was in the middle of a training session. I told my client to take 5 and met her outside. She looked like a ghost, eyes hollow, makeup streaked. You can't be here, I said flatly. Clara, please, her voice cracked. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I know that now. Good. Then you know why we have nothing to talk about. She grabbed my arm, desperation seeping from her grip. No, wait. We can fix this. I swear we can. I told Daniel I can't see him anymore. I'll do whatever it takes. I studied her face, searching for sincerity. But behind the tears, behind the trembling lips, I saw it. The entitlement. The same delusion that had carried her through every cruel laugh and smug smirk. There's just one thing, she whispered. Of course, there was always a condition. What? I asked. She took a shaky breath. If you want me back, you have to apologize to Daniel. You really hurt him. He was just defending me. It wasn't his fault. I stared at her. 10 solid seconds. Nothing but silence. My brain almost couldn't process the sheer insanity of it. She wanted me to apologize. To the man who helped humiliate me, lied to me, and shoved me. And that's when it broke inside me. Not my patience. My composure. I started laughing. A deep, raw laugh that tore out of me until I had to lean against the wall for balance. Sophie blinked at me, confused, then angry. What's so funny? You are, I gasped, wiping tears of laughter from my eyes. You really think you're the prize here? That I should crawl back just to keep you? You're unbelievable. Her face twisted, torn between outrage and despair. I straightened, my laughter gone, my voice sharp as steel. Get out, Sophie. Don't ever come back. And no, I won't be apologizing to Daniel. Not now. Not ever. Her lip trembled. For the first time, she had no comeback. She just turned and walked away, shoulders shaking. That was the last time I saw her. Because the next message she received wasn't a reply from me, it was a warning. One word, one threat. Restraining order. And that finally shut her up. 6 months later, the storm had passed. Daniel and Sophie were no longer a headline in my life, just background noise, whispers fading into irrelevance. Their so-called romance imploded almost as soon as I walked away. Without me as their common enemy, they had nothing to bond over, no tension to fuel their rebellion. I heard about the end through mutual friends, a public fight in a bar, voices raised, glasses shattered. Sophie stormed out, Daniel humiliated, his ego in ruins. The power couple dissolved into nothing but gossip. Daniel's tough guy act? A joke now. Everyone knew he'd been laid out cold by one punch. His name wasn't respected, it was ridiculed. And I heard he had to get dental work too. Crowns. Expensive ones. Fitting, really, for a man who thought he was untouchable. Sophie's fall was quieter, but no less brutal. Without me footing the bills, she couldn't keep her apartment. She moved back in with her parents, trading her nights of attention and chaos for a desk job she despised. The girl who once strutted like she owned every room was now just another office worker complaining about deadlines. And me? I rebuilt. I thrived. I poured myself into my gym, my clients, my peace. The silence that once felt lonely became a gift. Then, one evening, life gave me a moment of perfect symmetry. I was on a date at a nice restaurant, someone kind, steady, the opposite of Daniel. We were laughing over appetizers when our waitress walked up. It was Sophie. Her face went white the moment she saw me. She froze, then mumbled something to her manager about feeling sick and vanished to the back. My date raised an eyebrow. What was that about? I just smiled, stirring my drink. It's a long story. And it was. A long, ugly, twisted story. But a story that no longer belonged to me. Because the best revenge wasn't the punch or the deadbolt or even the public silence. The best revenge was refusing to play their game anymore. I stepped off their stage and without me, the spotlight dimmed. the audience disappeared, and they were left standing there, exposed, with no one to perform for. They didn't just lose me that night at the concert. They lost their power. They lost their audience. And for people like Daniel and Sophie, that's worse than anything.